Welcome to FairPlay Football AI Review. Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina served up a dramatic opener at BMO Field in Toronto, a 1-1 draw that felt like both a relief and a missed opportunity depending on which dressing room you occupied. This was Group B, Match Day 1 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Canada, as co-hosts, were desperate to make a statement on home soil in only their third World Cup appearance ever. Bosnia and Herzegovina arrived knowing a point against the hosts would be a platform to build from, with Switzerland and Qatar, the group's other two sides, going head-to-head simultaneously. The pre-match narrative for Canada centered on the extraordinary occasion. This was the first time the Canadians had played a World Cup match on Canadian soil, and 43,000 fans packed BMO Field in Toronto on a warm June evening to witness it. Jesse Marsch had his full squad available. Bosnia's preparations were slightly disrupted. Edin Dzeko, their iconic figurehead, was absent with a shoulder injury, and Haris Tabakovic was also unavailable. That created an opportunity for the relatively inexperienced Jovo Lukic to lead the Bosnian attack. Jesse Marsch deployed Canada in a 4-4-2, and the intent was clear from the first whistle: press high, use the wide areas, and flood forward through the energy of Jonathan David and Tani Oluwasi up front. Tajon Buchanan and Liam Miller provided width, while the engine room of Steven Eustachio and Ismail Kone was tasked with dominating the middle of the park. Marsch wanted his side to be aggressive and vertical, using the crowd and home advantage as fuel. Sergei Barbares also lined up in a 4-4-2, but with a more pragmatic, compact shape. Without Dzeko to hold the line alone, Lukic and Ermedin Demirovic were asked to press cleverly and stay tight rather than stretch the game. The Bosnian midfield block of Bajraktarevic, Basic, Tahirovic, and Memic sat deep enough to deny Canada central access while looking to spring transitions through Demirovic's technical quality. The tactical battle was fascinating precisely because both teams used the same system yet had entirely opposing philosophies. Canada's fullbacks pushed high, Alistair Johnston on the right and Richie Laryea on the left, creating overloads in wide areas. Bosnia's response was to sit compact and allow Canada to have the ball in less dangerous zones, then hit them quickly through Demirovic's link play. The mismatch Canada were most eager to exploit was in transition, but Bosnia's discipline and shape made that extremely difficult in the opening exchanges. Canada controlled the early territory, as expected. The home side dominated possession and pressed Bosnia into their own half repeatedly in the opening quarter of an hour. Kone was excellent early, winning the ball back and driving forward, and the atmosphere inside BMO Field was extraordinary. But Bosnia were difficult to break down and dangerous on the counter. In the 17th minute, Jonathan David had the clearest opening of the first half. Given a genuine sight on goal with space in the box, the Lille striker, one of the most clinical forwards in European football that season, fired straight at Nikola Vasilj. It was the kind of chance David converts in his sleep at club level, and the miss would prove very costly within minutes, because 4 minutes later, Bosnia and Herzegovina took the lead. Ivan Basic delivered a corner from the right, and captain Sed Kolasinac, charging into the box, flicked a header across goal. Jovo Lukic was perfectly positioned at the near post and planted a powerful header into the net. It was Lukic's first ever international goal, coming in only his fourth cap, and it silenced BMO Field instantly. Canada responded with urgency and should arguably have leveled before half-time. In the 53rd minute, after the restart, a brilliant team move sliced through the Bosnian defense entirely, and Richie Laryea drove a shot that had Vasilj well beaten, only for the ball to crack against the woodwork and stay out. It was one of those moments where fortune simply did not smile on the hosts. At the break, Canada led on XG and on pressure, but trailed on the scoreboard. Bosnia had been efficient to the point of being clinical, converting their one genuine set-piece opportunity while soaking up everything the Canadians threw at them. Marsch needed to find a way to unlock a deep defensive block, and it was clear that the existing lineup was not quite doing it. Bosnia came out for the second half still well organized, continuing to sit deep and protect the one-goal lead. Canada maintained possession, 61% across the match, but were finding it increasingly difficult to create clear-cut openings against a side that had 9 or 10 men behind the ball at all times. Jesse Marsch made a bold triple substitution in the 61st minute, introducing Ali Ahmed for Buchanan, Promise David for Jonathan David, and Jacob Schaffelberg for Miller. It was an emphatic statement of intent, the coach essentially changing all three of his attacking wide and forward outlets simultaneously, accepting that a fresh set of legs and a different approach was the only way to break down Bosnia's resilience. Barbarez also made double changes at 62 minutes, bringing Samad Bajdar on for the goal-scorer Lukic and Armin Gigovic on for Basic. This was a deliberate attempt to shore up midfield and protect the lead, sacrificing some attacking threat for structural solidity as Bosnia looked to manage the game. At 74 minutes, Barbarez made two further changes. Ivan Šunjić came on for Bajraktarević, and Kerim Alajbegović replaced Memić. Bosnia were clearly prioritizing their shape in the final 20 minutes, with fresh legs dropping into the defensive block to resist Canada's growing momentum. The decisive moment arrived in the 78th minute. Ismail Kone drove forward magnificently into the final third, threading a pass to Promise David on the edge of the penalty area. David, only on the pitch for 17 minutes, took one touch and slid the ball into Sile Larin's path inside the box. Larin, who had come on just 2 minutes earlier as a replacement for Oluwaseyi, struck quickly under pressure. The shot deflected and wrong-footed Vasilj completely, rolling into the bottom corner. 1-1, and BMO Field erupted. The yellow cards across this match told the story of a competitive and physical encounter. Johnston was booked in the 11th minute for a serious foul early in the game, a significant blow as it curtailed his ability to press aggressively for the remainder of the first half. Then, at the stroke of halftime, both Demirovic and Lukic picked up bookings for serious fouls in quick succession, a frantic end to the first 45 that underlined the needle in this fixture. Luc de Fougerolles was cautioned in the 53rd minute, also for serious foul play, which added an uncomfortable edge to Canada's defensive discipline. Nikola Katic picked up the 5th yellow of the match in stoppage time, a futile foul as both teams settled for a point, though it means Katic will carry a booking into matchday 2. 84 minutes brought a significant development for Bosnia when Kolasinac, who had assisted the opening goal, was forced off with an injury and replaced by Jenis Brnić. Losing a left-back of Kolasinac's Premier League experience late in a match they were trying to hold at 1-1 was a concern, and it somewhat destabilized Bosnia's defensive shape in the closing minutes. In terms of possession, Canada's 61% was a genuine reflection of their territorial dominance. 417 passes against 268 for Bosnia, with Canada completing 74% of their attempts against 63 for the visitors. But here is the critical nuance. Much of Canada's passing was in front of Bosnia's defensive block, circulating laterally. The Bosnians allowed them to have the ball in areas where it posed no threat. Canada generated an XG of 1.52 against Bosnia's 1.05. 13 shots to 8, 10 inside the box versus 5. But the Canadians put only 4 shots on target all match, and Bosnia's goalkeeper, despite having a quiet night in terms of saves, was not seriously tested until the equalizer. Bosnia converted with remarkable efficiency, 1 shot on target, 1 goal. Defensively, Canada were actually solid when required. Maxime Crépeau made 2 saves and his defenders were organized, conceding only that 1 set-piece goal. Bosnia's 19 dangerous attacks compared to Canada's 80 illustrates just how deep Barbarez set his side. The Bosnians defended with real discipline and only caved when a moment of individual brilliance from Kone and Larin combined to pierce their block. The standout performer on the Canadian side was unquestionably Ismail Kone. The Marseille midfielder was relentless, pressing, carrying, driving forward, and ultimately playing the key role in the build-up to the equalizer with that surging run that set the entire move in motion. His energy and willingness to take responsibility in the second half made him Canada's most dynamic presence. For Bosnia and Herzegovina, Ermadin Demirovic was the standout. Despite picking up a yellow card at halftime, the Augsburg striker was technically brilliant throughout, linking play intelligently, holding the ball under pressure, and constantly demanding attention from the Canadian defense. His ability to operate in tight spaces gave Bosnia an outlet whenever they won the ball back. The player who struggled most on the night was Jonathan David. On any other evening, converting that 17th-minute chance is automatic. David scored 26 league goals for Lille last season. But on the biggest stage, with his nation watching, he fired straight at the goalkeeper. Replaced at 61 minutes, he was unable to make the mark the occasion demanded of him. Tactically, Marsh's decision to ring the changes at 61 minutes was the correct call, and it ultimately produced the equalizer. The decision to start Tani Oluwaseyi alongside David rather than Larin from the outset is a question worth asking, but the triple substitution itself showed excellent reading of the game. Barbares's conservative approach after taking the lead was textbook, but the late changes to protect the result slightly disrupted Bosnia's structure in the final 10 minutes. This was the first ever meeting between Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina at senior international level, so there is no historical pattern to draw upon. What this match established, however, is that these are two evenly matched sides at this level, and that Bosnia have the tactical intelligence to exploit any weakness Canada show against organized defenses. Canada, meanwhile, demonstrated the character to recover from a setback on their greatest footballing stage. Canada's recent form heading into this tournament was entirely built on this match, given the limited data available. But their squad depth, the quality of Davies, who was available as a substitute, along with Osorio and Larin proving their worth from the bench, suggests Jesse Marsh has real options as the group develops. Bosnia came into this tournament on a strong run. 6 wins from their last 8 competitive outings, including victories over Austria and Cyprus in qualification. Their only recent defeats were a narrow 1-0 loss to Italy in a friendly and a draw with Wales. The absence of Dzeko is significant given his leadership, but this result proves they are competitive without him. After matchday 1, both Canada and Bosnia sit on 1 point apiece, with Qatar and Switzerland on 0 following their own result. The top 2 sides from Group B advance. Canada have Qatar at home next, a winnable game they will be expected to take maximum points from. Bosnia face Switzerland away, which is a considerably more challenging proposition. The real test comes on matchday 3, when both Canada and Bosnia face each other's remaining opponents in reverse. Canada's next 2 games, Qatar at BMO Field then Switzerland away, are a manageable pair but not guaranteed. Qatar will fight hard as the other co-host nation, and Switzerland and Europe are always difficult. Bosnia need to navigate a tough trip to Switzerland, then host Qatar, who they should beat. Effectively, both teams will likely need 4 points from their final 2 games to feel secure about qualification. My prediction is straightforward. Canada will qualify from Group B. They have home advantage, a strong squad, and enough quality, particularly through Kone, Davies when fit, and Larin, to accumulate the points needed. Bosnia and Herzegovina are the trickiest of the remaining sides, but they were away from home here and still earned a point. My view is they finish 3rd and miss out, with Switzerland claiming the 2nd automatic place, but it will be close. This was a match that offered everything an opening day World Cup fixture should. Tension, a comeback, disciplined defense against relentless attack, and genuine quality in the moments that mattered. Canada showed heart, but also their limitations against a compact opponent. Bosnia showed exactly why they deserve to be here. That is your complete analysis of Matchday 1, Group B. Join us here on FairPlay for full coverage when Canada take on Qatar and Bosnia meet Switzerland. 2 games that will define which 2 nations are still standing when this group reaches its conclusion. That's the FairPlay verdict on this one. If you want more analysis like this, follow us. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at FairPlay AI, and follow Anthony personally on X at Anthony Fairplay. See you next match.